in Gainesville. We'll tell you about some of those things, the staff changes. At Florida, these things are predictable but never easy. We'll discuss that with Shane Matthews, who's been involved in those kinds of things. Shane will be on with us shortly. We have lots to talk about in terms of the playoffs, the teams. I'm sorely disappointed in what we have now, as I said. So in my column, we'll get Shane's take on that. And then Scott Carter back from a visit with a new coach, Jon Sumrall, saw his team win, has a lot to talk about. He'll be joining us. And then we've got our friend who will tell us a little bit about the book we got going on right now. It's being launched right now as we speak. Carlton Reese will join us at the back half. And big game tomorrow night. The Gators play in Madison Square Garden. Wow. Against UCONN, a very strong team. All that coming up tonight on the program. Stay tuned. Thank your friends and neighbors. The Buddy Martin Show is on the air.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
And welcome to the program. It's a Monday night Meldon Law Monday. I have things changed in just a couple of days. We have lots of controversy brewing, things changing at the national level, the National Football League, I'm sure, as Shane Matthews takes in tonight's game on the NFL. I have much to say about the Kansas City Chiefs are not in the playoffs. Are you kidding me? Man, that's a surprising move. And I can't believe people are saying, fire Andy Reid, you idiots. You got one of the best coaches in football right now. Anyway, lots of stuff changes. The landscape changes. Let's go see how much it's changed for Shane Matthews, the host of Pot Up with Matthews every morning, and our regular guest here, a co-host on Monday. Good evening to you, Shane.
Hello, buddy.
Well, just give it to me straight. Number one, let's talk about the 12 teams, and let's talk about the obvious things. We don't have to get into the whole Notre Dame launch and all that, but I heard some of your show this morning. It's easy not to like Notre Dame. On the other hand, I can see their point. I don't know if that was the right way to deal with it, but nonetheless, I mean, really, I love the stories of the two teams, smaller teams, Tulane and James Madison getting in, but they don't belong in there. If you match them up against the obvious teams like Texas and Vandy, who did not get in there, I don't believe that they should be in. That's my take. Give me your whole thought on it.
Well, I'm a believer they need to go to 24 teams like the FCS teams have been doing for many, many years. And I just think it'd be a lot more fun doing that. I think Duke should be in, buddy. They won the damn ACC. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the right answer. There is no right answer because even if you have 24, there are teams that are going to be upset that they don't get in there. But I think it'd solve a lot of problems.
Well, let's get into the whole ACC thing right now. There's so many angles to this. The fact that they don't play, they're not in a conference. Let's get into the deal that, who deserved to be in. The champion didn't get in, Duke. I mean, there's a lot of crazy things that went on, Shane. What exactly happened to this committee? They sort of lost their way. I wrote a scathing column today, like others saying, what do we have here? This is supposed to be the ultimate playoff that we worked on for years and years and years. And I've been fighting for it for 30 years, is to have a playoff. Now that we got it, it's not the straight and true system we hoped it would be. And I'm not talking about, there's always going to be somebody left out. I get that. But this just feels to me like it's just not working.
Well, it's never going to be fair because you don't have parity or the same scheduling across the board around the country. But um, I didn't watch one show on a Tuesday night. I didn't watch one of them. I didn't even get to see the show yesterday. I just saw that the teams that were selected. Um, I don't have a problem with a group of 5 being in there. 2 of them's kind of crazy, but it is what it is, man. I think Vanderbilt deserved to be in.
I do too.
I do not. People are upset that Alabama's in, but Alabama had to play the extra game, and you shouldn't be penalized. I don't think if you're playing in a championship game. But I do think whoever wins the championship game should automatically get in as well. So that would put Duke in.
You're the commissioner of college football. You fix it tonight. What do you do?
Oh, buddy, I haven't thought enough about it.
Well, you're a
I'd go to
football
20
guy.
I'd go to 24 teams. I know I'd do that.
But it seems like every time they have something that doesn't work, they expand. So let's just
No.
try to.
I would like to. How long has the FCS been doing 24 teams? 30 years at least?
I don't know. I know that now looking back at it, 4 wasn't all that bad. Yeah, I thought it'd be better, but we don't even have a clearer picture. I mean, I don't see how Texas. I mean, I thought Texas had a chance of winning it. They didn't get in. I just don't
They didn't
know.
deserve to get in. They lost to us, buddy.
I understand that, but that was that they were a different team after that, and they beat a hell of a good team in A&M. Quality wins got to mean something, and schedule's got to mean something. And if you look, I don't know, it just doesn't feel. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's working for me, Shane.
Notre Dame, in my opinion, does not deserve to be in. They didn't beat anybody worth a damn all year. Nobody.
Also, his first 2 games. And then, I mean, I'm not going to sit and fight for Notre Dame. But
I don't even think they should be in the discussion. Vanderbilt deserves to be in before they do.
Most people are mad because they pulled out, didn't play the bowls. Now, if you're Notre Dame, I understand how you feel about it. Do what you need to do. I don't have a problem with that. If you want to do that, don't pull out. But I don't know. It just feels all right. Let's get to the more positive things on the schedule. And boy, what a positive story we had. By the way, let me start out by saying RIP to Franz Beard's mom, Carlita, who passed away today at 97. Great lady. And she's been a joy to Franz and vice versa. And he's been taking care. He's been a good son. She's been a good mom. Also, Sonny Tilman. Shane, do you know him?
I met him back in the college days, yes.
96, founder of Sonny's Barbecue, both today. Mm-hmm. So, Franz, is going to be going tomorrow to Madison Square Garden. He said his mom told him that she made him promise that he would go no matter what, because his goal is to go to every game out of town if he can. So he's going to go tomorrow, and the show will go on, and he'll be there. And so RIP to a great lady and Carlita. And I know it's a grieving time for Franz, to his family as well. All right, so let's start with another issue before we get into Indiana, which, by the way, I love that story. That's a great story. Shane, you know what it's like for staff changes to take place, and it's painful. I guess the first time I ever realized that it really is a cold, hard business is the 69 Gators who had the super softs. Fred Pankos was the coach, and he had Reeves and Alvarez, and Graves wound up stepping up to become athletic director, and Dickey got the job. But that night that they all coached their last game, I was at their house, and Pankos was balling like a baby because he wanted to coach Reeves. It's a very strong relationship with each other and with the players. You realize it's a business. Whenever there's a change, a new coach comes in, people got to go. I hate that, but it's just like my business. Every time I came in as a sports editor in 4 cases. I had to make staff changes and then let people go that I really didn't want to have to let go. But they did not fit. They would not fit. And they didn't really want to be there. So it's a tough call. But did you see the changes that have been made in Gainesville.
Yeah, I heard about some of them. I don't know who all we've hired. I know who we let go. Nothing surprised me at all, because the new coach, whoever it is at whatever school, knows who he wants on his staff. He does not really care how long someone's been on that previous staff or what they've done. They have their own minds made up, and it's nothing wrong with that. I thought the Tulane guy, I don't think they crossed paths though when Chapman was at Tulane, but I didn't think any of the other coaches would make it. And maybe some of them still do. I don't really know, but I didn't think any of them would make it.
I don't know the relationship between Jon Sumrall and Gerald Chapman, but he's back. I think we could argue the case for Jamar Jalute being a heck of a running back coach, and his guys, has been a star, but he's not coming back. Rob Sale, no surprise there, not being retained. And Billy Gonzalez. That one hurts a little bit because, you think there'd be a debt of gratitude to be paid somehow, but I get it. He wants to have his own receiver coach. And just like you said before, when Lane Kiffin, if he came in, he might bring his own quarterback, and where'd that leave DJ? So there are those changes. It's cold, hard business when you get down to it, Shane.
Yeah, I mean, we could still have another quarterback here. The reports that Buster Faulkner is going to bring his guy from Georgia Tech, so his backup.
Not Haynes King, but
no, the other kid's the all-time leading passer
Yeah.
in Georgia high school football history. So
Yeah.
he's a good player. It's just that's the way it is, man. It's no different. If I were to be hired, I'm going to bring in people I know.
Sure, and I did. I did bring in people.
Yeah.
When I went to the New York Daily News, I had to have an assistant. It's the largest paper in the country at that time. I looked all over the place to find the right person as my assistant. And I interviewed people. I could not find the person I wanted. And I went back to the guy who worked for me at 3 different papers, a younger guy named Van McKenzie. And I wound up hiring him. He was the right guy, did a fabulous job, whatever. But I didn't want to have to go to the well. We like to just go and find somebody new. But, he said he's not going to hire you. He's not going to hire a person because he's a friend. I think so far he's had an outstanding start. Let's talk about Buster for a minute. What do you know about him?
I know he's a very good offensive coordinator. He was the quarterback coach when Georgia won their back-to-back national titles. He's done a great job at Georgia Tech. He just won the Frank Broyles Award, which is the top assistant in America.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he can do a lot of stuff offensively. I think it's a tremendous hire.
Did you know Frank Broyles coached at Florida?
I did not know that.
Yes, he did. He certainly did before he went up to Arkansas. Yeah, so how about the defensive coordinator? I heard good things about him as well, White.
Yeah, I don't know much about him. I just know Kentucky always plays good, solid defense. I know they had some issues this year at times, but look, he's a defensive-minded head coach. He's had good football teams. I'm not going to be really concerned about the defense. I think they'll be okay. I think we'll be better defensively than we've been.
You think?
I'm still not one that thought we were very good this year or last year. Not Florida defense that you see year after year at Florida.
Well, no, for sure. And I think you're going to stop some people. Going to get off the field. The defense showed a few wrinkles this year. The possibility of being pretty decent. And Sumrall, he's no nonsense guy. What kind of defense will he run? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have not watched Tulane. I don't know if he's a 3-4, 4-3 guy or what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are your friends saying about Lane now?
Meaning what?
Well, I mean, he's there. He's ready to start making peace and spending money and hiring guys.
I don't have many friends that are LSU people, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
my Ole Miss people don't even care anymore. They're excited for Pete Golden.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I know about Sumrall. He's not afraid to take on a challenge. He coaches two teams at once. That's never been done, I know of, in history. And he's, by all accounts, I loved his press conference. I thought he had a home run there.
The James Madison coach is doing the same thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's the UCLA coach and the James Madison coach.
Yeah. Anyway, you know, a guy was there and who took it in, and I guess was impressed. If you listen or watch what I know, you had him on your show today, and he wrote a nice story about it. Is there's something about Sumrall that rings true? He seems real, Shane. He seems like he's down the level where he needs to be. He's not afraid to address issues, and he actually answers questions, unlike the guy prior to him. And we'll see how long the honeymoon lasts, but so far so good. And here's a guy who was there with him during the past couple of days, and you had him on your show this morning. I want to get Scott Carter's take on what he saw of our new head coach, Jon Sumrall. Hello, Scott.
Hello, buddy. How you doing?
And all right, it's going to be a regular thing with you and Shane all day radio. Glad to have you both. So fill me up with the Jon Sumrall stories.
Well, you know, my first impression of him is like from the press conference. I was pretty, you know, I liked the guy. I mean, right away, I liked his energy. I liked what he said, and I just felt he handled the situation with the way I think it needed to be. You know, the energy is what caught my attention. So, you know, after that, a couple of days later, I was fortunate enough to go out to Tulane on Friday for their game in the American Athletic Conference against North Texas. And, you know, while I was out there, I talked to a lot of people who know him really well in the program. And I kept hearing the same thing, man. You guys are just going to love this guy. We're going to miss him. He's unlike your typical football coach in today's time. The guy SID out there was saying he lets freshmen talk. Players are available regularly. He just addresses things head on. And, you know, I don't know what it's going to look like at Florida. Obviously, the Tulane media coverage is a lot different than the Florida media coverage. And the time on requested of him in this job is probably going to be more at Tulane. But again, I just think this guy, he said it kind of in this press conference. He seems just built for this. He's been 20 years on this journey now. And, you know, one of the things after the game that caught my attention, I went up to his office with him after the game and after the press conference. And I was like, you know, what do you make of just the reception? And he was like, look, you know, he was headed to Auburn. And then when the Lane Kiffin thing turned, Ole Miss got in the race, and then Florida called back. And he told Scott, look, you got 24 hours. So Scott gets on the plane, flies out there, meets with him, and then him and his wife talk about it that night. He said, you know, his concern was maybe what's the reception at Auburn? They already love him. At Florida, the reception was different. His wife said, you know what? I think Florida is the place you need to be, and you're going to win them over with your personality. Don't worry about that. Just be yourself. And that's kind of what he said. I mean, he says, look, I'm not going to change. I am who I am. I'm unapologetically myself. And this is what got me here, and I'm going to stay that way. So I just love the attitude, man. I mean, I don't know what else you can really not like about that approach in this day and age where, you know, these guys are under constant attack somewhere on social media. But he seems to not really let that get him, so I like that.
Shane, and we hear this from other coaches. We had, I would say, ringing endorsements. I would call it ringing after talking to both of them, from Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier. I get it. Coaches like to support the guy they chose, but it seems authentic to me that they really like this guy. Shane, did you get that?
Yeah, I do know, Coach. I mean, obviously Urban endorsed him, but, you know, I don't know if Coach Spurrier had a lot to say about him other than in the press conference, you know, or maybe it was after the press conference. I heard Coach do an interview with somebody. He's like, this guy he hates to lose, you can tell. And that's kind of how Coach Spurrier was. He hated to lose. And some people just get used to losing, right? And what he's done as a young head football coach, playing for a championship every year that he's been the head coach. I don't care what league it is. That's still impressive.
It is impressive. And one of the things Steve said too, I talked to him at the press conference. Number one, he said he congratulated Scott Strickland for picking him. He thought he was the right choice. And he said that, see, you can win right away. You know, you always said that, Shane, too. And Steve is, you don't give me this 5-year crap. You know, look at Indiana. Holy mackerel, what a story that is. Unbelievable. You can win now in today's world. And that's what Sumrall said. And I think that woke up people said, wait a minute. I don't have to put up with this BS about complimentary football. Blah, 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 blah. We're not there yet. I mean, go win. And that's what I like about this guy, Scott. That's the impression he gave me. That's what he told us. And I think that resonates.
Yeah, I mean, that's just who he is. I mean, when a guy gets up in his introductory press conference, and I think he said it at least 2 or 3 times, look, man, I'm a winner. We're going to win here. And, you know, I was talking to his mom after the game, though, and I said, you know, we met him on Monday. What do you think about what's happened in the last week? And she's like, look, that's just how John's always been. Whatever he put his mind to, he went at it full speed. He said that's the only way he knows how. She even closed the quote I used, he's going to be a winner. I'm like, so obviously he's been raised in like believing that he can accomplish big things. And here he is, you know, he's an average player who played above his skill set as a college player at Kentucky. And then he took his first job at little San Diego and worked his way out of there and up into a defensive coordinator role eventually at Tulane, and then moved up to the SEC. And so it's a good story in what he's done. And, you know, I don't know any one of you guys do how it's going to look in 2-3 years. We were probably sitting here 4 years ago talking about Billy Napier being a promising hire, and at the time he was. But I saw things in Jon Sumrall that I think are important in a football coach that I never saw in Billy Napier. And it starts with that fire. It's that fire, man. You have great coaches. You guys have been around the game. All the great coaches have that fire. I mean, you just don't see laid-back coaches winning at a big-time place like Florida regularly. I mean, you got to have – and you got to energy. I mean, he talked about, like, setting that example. He says – I think the quote he said was you know, good teams can be coach-led, but great teams have to be player-led. But you've got to set the tone as the coach and make those guys accountable and believe in to your system and your belief set. And so I just think he's got that formula right now at the 2 places he's been head coach, Troy and Tulane. It obviously worked, whatever he's doing. Now he's going to try to unleash it at Florida. I just think the program needs a jolt. And I think he's the perfect guy to come along at the right time, because I do think, as we've talked about a million times, I mean, I think the roster has improved a lot. I give Napier credit there, but there's still something missing. That's why they're 4-8.
Hey, Shane, open practices. What a concept, huh?
Oh, he said he's going to have open practices?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Tulane, he did have regular open practices. Again, I don't know how all of it's going to translate to Florida, but I do. One thing I was talking to their SID about, and you know, we've been used to the Sabanization of college football for a long time at Florida, because other than Mullen, all the coaches have been Saban guys. Well, this guy's not, and he's got his own thing that's worked for him. And I think that's kind of refreshing from my standpoint, at least. I know from a fan base, they don't care about how many days practice is over. They just want to know, is he going to win some games? But when you're around it every day, it does help getting to know people better and telling stories in a deeper, richer way. So it's a good sign that I like.
So is it open practices for media or for the fans?
I think that's just media. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
There's nowhere for people to stand. for
Yeah,
practice.
no, we're just talking about media being able to come in. And again, I don't know what the final plans are going to be at Florida, but out there at Tulane, they were open regularly. And, I talked to a couple of the media guys out there, just like, because, if you're going to get a straight answer, media guy will usually give it to you. A couple I talked to, man, they're like, look, this guy's the best football coach I've ever been around in terms of just being a normal, personable guy. You know how a lot of football coaches, they're kind of socially awkward a little bit. This guy's not socially awkward at all. He's going to talk to everybody.
How about paranoid? Paranoid might be a better word.
Well, yeah, paranoid a little bit, but also I think all of them are a little bit of paranoid. But I've dealt with enough to where even when you just get them 1-on-1 just to kind of shoot the bull, it's hard sometimes, but not with this guy.
Shane, Toby Barnes says Aaron Philo was a quarterback at Tech that we were kind of looking for. So, I'll be interested. Have you heard anything more than what we read on social media, Scott, about who's going to stay? We know that a couple are already gone. Sad to say that Billy Gonzalez will not be back. Juluke's not coming back. Rob Sale's not coming back. I don't know about Mike Peters.
Taking the job at Arkansas.
Okay.
Ryan O'Hara, I know he's not coming back. The quarterback's coach.
Mike P. We don't know about Mike P. Right?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on Mike P. I don't, just from what it's the mood. I don't think he's gonna be coming back, but I don't know that for a fact. I just haven't heard anything trending that way. I expect really who they announced the. You said his name, but my mind's blanking. Who he's retaining? Gerald Chapman. Which
Chapman,
when the change happened, if I were to give odds on guys who he might keep, Chapman would have been number one, just because he was, he wasn't really tied to Napier, and he was obviously doing a good job here. I think with the interior defensive lineman this year, they had the opportunity to go to Chicago Bears last year. Florida kept him. So I can see why you'd want to keep a guy on that staff. But also I would imagine Brad White, the new defensive coordinator, he might want to plug his linebacker coach or something in there, whoever. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think the thing is, and this guy says it, says trust is a big word. I think he's more trustworthy for the fans. I think he's going to do what he says he's going to do. And I think he's open to the media. I think he is fair and tough, and there's no arguing with his results. Now, let's not get over our skis, okay? I mean, he did say when he said he predicted he was going to be in the playoffs this year and going to win it. That might be a little tall order, I think, for Tulane, but I like the attitude. Why not, right?
I mean, part of building a culture and belief is creating the sense of possibility, right? Whether anytime you read about a great businessman who created an empire out of nothing, you got to have that belief, and it's certainly you got to have that on a football team. And just from what I saw the other day, I mean, this Tulane team, they got every break possible in that game tonight and won the game pretty easily. But you could tell that those guys, when they ran out of that tunnel, man, they believed they deserve to be there, and I think they'll come out the same way against Ole Miss. So right now all we got as far as proof of this guy is what he's done at Troy and Tulane. I don't know what it's going to look like at Florida. I just know that I've been doing this a long time. I was telling somebody he's got a little something about him that it's different, man, than any other football coach I've been around. And I will see how it plays out. I mean, because you're a nice guy doesn't mean you're going to win games. Because you're a fiery guy doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win games. But hopefully his combination can turn it around.
Let's gather around this fire here for a second and talk about this. Shane and I danced around it some, talked about it some. Sometimes it gives me a headache to talk about it. But the fact is, it's the elephant in the room. The fact is, the college football playoffs are borderline failure. And if we set out to get the best 12 teams in America, then we flunked. So I wrote a column about saying that the football fans are not arguing about the playoff seeding. They're arguing about the sanity of the playoffs. This was built on a promise: the best teams, the fairest process, and the cleanest shot at crowning a true champion. What we got this year is something else, like a cable network construction project designed not to reward excellence, but to maintain a brand stability. And this is a phrase I must say I helped coin back in 2006, which is the ESPN cartel. I mean, it's a label to describe the network's power over college football. It never has been more visible now that ESPN has a grip on this, has a say about it, and is loaded with conflicts of interest. I think it's borderline failure. Scott, what do you think?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that the system is flawed. I didn't like some of the commentary you're probably talking about on ESPN either. There is, I mean, they're basically in partnership with the Power Fours. They're paying a lot of bills, and I get that. That's just the economic system that is needed now with NIL and rev sharing, and the TV needs it too. ESPN needs college football because live sports is one of the few things that still draw significant advertising dollars. So I just would rather speed up the process of where this is going. It's been obvious for 3 or 4 years now. Take the group of four or the Power Four, make them their pro league, semi-pro, whatever you want to call it, NFL light, couple of divisions, break up the conferences, throw 20 teams in each side, and let the group of 5 have their own little national championship.
That's what I'm saying. I've always said that.
You know, go ahead and do what we're going to do with the Power Four. Mm-hmm. It's just we all know where it's headed, man. So then, of course, chaos is good for college football too. It's always had chaos. I tweeted this yesterday. I mean, that's partly why I love college football. And the NFL is boring to me because it's so structured. I like the chaos of college football. But I don't like the fact that, I mean, and I told Shane this earlier, I mean, I'm not a Notre Dame fan by any means, but, you know, I would rather watch Notre Dame play than obviously James Madison. I don't care if James Madison was 13-0 or whatever. They're not going to win a game in this playoff. Tulane, who knows? Maybe they can Tulane, maybe they can give Ole Miss a game. But James Madison, I mean, get Notre Dame in there. That's just where I am. I'm kind of hardliner on this.
Yeah. But Shane, if the group of 5 have their own guy, their own team, that's fine. Having one's fine. But you're trying to bring the level of all the teams down so that the lower teams can get to have so-called parity. There's no parity in college football. Not supposed to be any parity in college football. There's got to be a better way than what they're doing right now. Let's say that Tulane did win the group of 5 and got in. Fine. Now they're going to get James Madison in, and it just sort of contorts the whole thing. Are you in favor of splitting it up like Scott talked about, maybe, and having their own little deal, like the old days of Division II?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but the way it's set up now, the reason James Madison and Tulane are in is because that's the way the rules were made. I still think Duke should get in, even though they're not very good, but they won the damn the ACC championship. They should be one of them.
But Miami got in; they didn't even win it.
Correct. I don't think Miami should be in. Like I said earlier, buddy, Vanderbilt has a way better resume than Miami. It's not even close. Not even close. So it's flawed. I don't know if it'll ever be fixed. But I mean, it's cool that James Madison in it, but they're going to get clobbered by Oregon. Now, Tulane, they can keep that Ole Miss game close, I think. Tulane played like their worst game of the year against Ole Miss earlier in the year, but the 4 best teams all have the bye. Now, you got to remember, the teams that got byes last year all lost.
Yeah,
when they played their first game.
That's true.
So who knows? But right now, Georgia, Indiana, Ohio State, and Texas Tech are clearly the best teams.
I'm going to tell you what, Indiana looks awfully good. I mean, can there be any doubt who's going to win the Heisman now? I mean, Fernando on one play, the 3rd and 2, he hit for a long bomb. It's so impressive. And I wrote a column saying they should have a Hoosiers for football like they did in basketball, the movie. And if this were the case, this football team would be a perfect candidate. I love their story. And Signetti, Urban says the greatest coaching job he'd ever seen by anybody. I mean, what a story, Scott, that is.
Yeah, I would be very happy if Indiana won the national title. I shared a video this morning of Lee Corso in 1982 at a practice talking about that he could do it at Indiana. Some guy retweeted, it only took 43 years, but it looks like he might have a chance. But you know what? And I like Shane, you know, in a perfect playoff this year, if you had to have 12 teams, I would shuffle out, obviously. Sorry, Coach Sumrall, but I'd shuffle out Tulane and James Madison and put Vanderbilt and Notre Dame in there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really strong playoff. But we're not there yet. It is the rules like this. The top 5 conference winners, the top 5 ranked conference winners are all in there. That's why Duke's not in there, because they're 8-5 and not ranked. And James Madison and Tulane got in, and you know. But I think that's what makes college football again so even more special or more unpredictable in this NIL era. When's the last time we've ever talked about Indiana in a national championship? Never, right?
Basketball.
Yeah, other than basketball. I mean, Bobby Knight, man, he's probably rolling over right now, dude. We're seeing what's going on.
Well, but again, I don't think it's not supposed to be the best 12, right? When you look at the NFL playoffs,
I thought it was.
But when you look at the NFL playoffs, there are teams that win their division. I remember a few years ago, somebody had a losing record and went into the playoffs because they won their division.
So it does happen. And
the way it's set up is that's the beauty of it. I hope they never do away with championship games, because I'm a big proponent of that.
Yeah, that's what I worry about. That'll be the next thing to go.
But the way it should be set up is, if you win your championship game, regardless of your record, you should go in.
I can go along with that. Did you guys see that they had 2 5-7 teams that made the bowls?
Well, because a lot of teams are opting out because they lose money.
And that's the thing with bowl games; they've really lost so much of their luster the last few years. But I was reading a good column today by somebody, like a few years ago, you know, players started opting out. The bowls, they're survived that. But if teams start opting out, the bowls are not going to survive that long. So maybe this is just a 1-year trend where some teams said, we're not going bowling. But if that continues, then the bowl game system is going to be on life support really soon.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. One part of me says maybe this be time we moved down. The other part of me thought, well, this is what got us where we are. Bowls used to be everything, you know?
Well, there's too many of them. There's just too many.
I know. Well, there's always been. There have been too many of them for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But now if they scale it back,
if they scale it back to maybe 20 bowls and where all the teams are pretty good, I mean, I think that has a better chance of trying to fill 42 bowl games or something like that.
Shane, could you use home for the bowl games?
Should I what?
Could you have, if you use the system we currently have, and had some of the games that we're playing in the playoff are going to be obviously not at a neutral site. They're going to one home field and the other. Could you say have the Rose Bowl? Could you use the bowls for the format, even if you had to play 2 games there? Is that possible? Keep the bowls, make them the playoffs?
Well, the second round are the bowls.
Yeah.
I don't know, buddy. I honestly haven't put a whole lot of thought into it. Because I like the bowls. I like the playoffs. They just need to figure out. I think they need to do again, I'm with 24-team playoff guy. I don't know. The FCS has had a phenomenal run doing it for X amount of years, and I just don't know why we can't do that.
It seems like, though, and we started this out at 4, as soon as they started adding teams, some of us made the prediction, here we go. We're going to have, 30 teams in the playoffs anytime soon. And, of course, sure enough, we wound up having that. I don't know. Where do you stop on that? I mean, do you keep on going to suddenly everybody's in it now? I mean, do you just like basketball? Everybody who got a team gets in practically? I don't know. Is it truly a good system when anybody can make the playoffs?
I mean, you've seen it in all sports. All the pro sports have expanded playoffs in recent years. It's going to continue to happen with the college football playoff, and we all know it's money driven, TV driven. How many is too many? I mean, I wouldn't want to see over 24, but at the same time, I'm good with 12 right now if it stays that way for a while. But
it's not.
No, it's going to expand. I mean, the money's just too big, and I think you're going to see college football's value as a entity just continue to climb because, as I said earlier, you guys know, I mean, live sports is about the only thing that keeps people on demand. That's what's moving the needle right there in live TV.
Yeah, you're right. It does. I'm kind of conflicted on the bowls. I'm not sure if they're holding us back or if it's a good thing. I know they're the ones that kept college football together, and we wouldn't have the BCS if we hadn't been for that or whatever. But it's strange. All right, so are we going to go ahead and award the Heisman tonight? I think Fernando is it.
If I had a vote like I used to, I would vote for Fernando, I think, yes.
I mean, you like Diego to have a shot, but I don't see how he's going to get it now. He's not in the playoffs. That hurts you. It does, when you don't get to play. I mean, his performance, Shane, did you watch any of Fernando's Mendoza's game?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. I think a lot of people.
What did you like about him? What did you like about him?
I mean, he's consistent. He's very consistent. He's accurate, knows where to go with the football. Most important things in playing quarterback. But the average person probably does not realize that he's a transfer from California who played high school football in Miami.
Yeah.
I never heard of him.
A lot of people didn't know Diego either, obviously, until the last year or two.
I love it because I'm one of these guys that I could give two craps about a 5-star guy because majority of the time the people that are ranking these guys have no clue.
Yeah.
Zero. And I mean, you think about, I don't even know who's going to be invited. Have they announced who's going to the ceremony?
Yes, they did. They announced it tonight.
So it's Mendoza, Pavia, who else?
I have to look at it and see. But
anyway, those two right there, if they walked into one of those 24/7 combines, ain't nobody looking at them.
No.
Nobody cares. They're just football players and they're damn good quarterbacks.
No, you're right. That's why I like to see those guys succeed. And, it's amazing, too, how all that position is missed. And it's so oftentimes that these kind of guys are the difference makers, and all these stud guys, few of them. I mean, of course, some of them hit it, but not many. Like the guy from Tennessee, obviously, who's now at UCLA. He's kind of just another guy. Obviously, DJ
the guy playing at Tennessee now is way better than him, and he's just a 1-star.
Yeah,
it's
the guy
again.
Georgia Tech.
These damn people get so enamored with arm strength, size, all the measurables that none of that matters at playing quarterback. Zero.
When you're coaching, did you like to see that when you're coaching? A big guy 6'5"?
No, I don't give a damn. No, I would rather have a guy that can process information, anticipate, and throw the ball accurate, and is mentally and physically tough. That's all I care about.
And sometimes those guys are 6'6", like Cam Newton, but not often,
Yeah. And Cam was a freak. He was a freak of
Yeah, he was
nature.
just a freak. He had everything.
Yeah.
But the guys who usually are the great NFL guys are guys like Tom Brady, just average build and underranked, and Kurt Warner and those guys.
Here's the guys going. Jeremiah Love, we forgot about him, Notre Dame running back. Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt. And Julian Sayant, we almost forgot about him.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He is. He couldn't. Yeah, and anyway, it was. I thought really that I'd not really seen Mendoza that much, and I got to tell you, I really, really liked that guy when I saw him play the other night. He represents everything about football I like. He's a scrapper. He's smart. He's tough. He's a great leader, and what a great attitude. You saw his post-game interview. You couldn't help but fall in love with a guy like that. Just so upbeat and just so grateful at all times. I like gratitude goes a long way with me. I know it didn't win games, but it still goes a long way with me. I think it goes a long way with the American public when you see players who are grateful to have what they have. So how's this thing going to play out, this national championship, Scott? How do you think it'll be? And by the way, I just want to say that I thought Georgia's quarterback Gunner had a heck of a game. I think he's a player. And I think he hadn't got enough credit for the way he played this season. And in that game, he's made some great plays. He's a baller,
Yep. Well, he's also got, I think, the best coach in college football.
That's true.
Kirby Smart. I really, I was, telling somebody earlier today, I think if I had to drop some money on who I think is going to win the national championship, I'm going with Georgia just because Kirby Smart's teams, they seem to always get better as the season progresses. I mean, you guys, it just reminds me so much of the way Billy Donovan's teams used to be at Florida. They just always got better as the year progressed. And I think this is his time of year. So I'd love to see Indiana win it. But I think I'd pick Georgia right now as my favorite.
I can't disagree with that. Can you, Shane?
Nope. I think their kids know how to win, man. And their quarterback is a gamer. I'm with Scott.
Was he a 5-star, Shane?
I think he was. Well, I don't know if he was or not, but he's not your typical. He can't. There's no way Gunner was a 5-star.
No, he was.
He won a lot. I think he won more football games in high school than any other kid there. But he doesn't have the measurables and all that stuff. He's just a damn leader and knows how to win football games.
Yeah. When you look back on this year, with all the turmoil we've had and the confusion over the playoffs, by the way, I hate that weekly show. That's a waste of time picking on the top teams. I hate that. It orchestrates the whole deal. But you look at the season we've had, despite screw-ups and hiccups and problems, that come down to some pretty good football teams and some really good stories. I mean, Cignetti is as good a story as you want to write about a coach right now. Not to mention a few other guys, including Sumrall. Cignetti was a massive story. The guy how did we not see him coming? And I didn't. Maybe you guys did. And then, of course, there's Ohio State hanging on and then getting beaten at the end. Kirby just keeps on battling, going through, despite all lane shenanigans. What he did. Still, Florida wound up with a good football coach. It's been a crazy, crazy, crazy year. We had 16, 17 coaches fired. I mean, I've just never seen a season like this in my lifetime, and I've been around for a long time. How do you guys feel about it?
Well, it's always good at this time of year, guys, because this is the time that I like the most, because there are going to be some really good games, some top-tier playoff games. And you're right, Cignetti, I mean, I didn't know a lot about Curt Cignetti until a few months ago when Indiana was 5 or 6-0. I mean, I knew he'd been around the game, worked at Alabama, but I didn't have him as a rising star at mid-60s in the coaching profession. But he's done a wonderful job. At Oregon's always a good story with Dan Lanning. Ohio State's I mean, to me, Ohio State's the premier program with Georgia right now the last 2 or 3 years. So the head-to-head, if they can go head-to-head at some point, that's going to be a classic game. And then, you always those individual stories like, Mendoza, the quarterback at Ohio State. I mean, there's Georgia's just unexpected run. I mean, a month ago over in Jacksonville, Gators were playing them tough and had a chance to win in Billy Gonzalez's debut as interim coach. And, of course, they pulled it out, and I don't think they've looked back since. So that's what keeps us coming back, watching these games, talking about it. And, there's a lot of BS in the sport, but we still love it because of this time of year.
True. Shane, as best we can, and Scott asked the same question, be our final question tonight. Knowing what we know and what we don't know, we think things are trending for Florida at this point in time. What's the likelihood that we're sitting here next year in the fall saying, this team made it? It made the playoffs like he said he was going to do. Florida's back. They won 9 games. They got the playoffs. This guy was a real deal. Where has he been? Why didn't they have him a year ago? By the way, I love the remark Signetti made. They asked him about winning the Big Ten. And everyone asked him, he said, what do you think? He says, we were a year late. He thought he should have won it last year. I love that. But what do you see? Put your visionary glasses on for one more thing, Shane, before you go to sleep. I know it's your milk and cookies time. And Scott, tell us what we see based on what we know right now. And I'm not asking them to predict world championships. I'm just saying trending. How do you feel about the trajectory of where things are and where they're going, Shane?
Well, I'm one of those that thinks you should win immediately. I'm on the same page as Jon Sumrall. I'm not looking at 2 years down the road. I think if they have some pieces in place and they'll add in the portal, I'm sure. I expect us to compete at a high level next year. And it's all going to come down to the quarterback. Whoever that quarterback is. It could be DJ, it could be who knows who. But for us to have a chance next year to make the playoffs, be relevant, you better have consistent quarterback play. It's the only chance you got.
Do you think that could be DJ?
I don't know that. You have to ask the coaches.
No, I mean, I want you to know from you. You're the analyst.
I don't know that. I can't answer that. I mean, he's got a long ways to go. I don't think we have time for projects.
You think his footwork's still messed up?
I just don't know how you're going to fix all that. I hope I'm wrong. But that's stuff that you learn when you're in the 5th grade. It's got to be natural instincts because you've done it for so long. You cannot play any sport if you don't have good fundamentals. I should say you can't play at a high consistent level if you don't have good fundamentals. And maybe they can fix it. I don't even know. We don't even know if DJ is going to be here, right?
We don't, but I think it would trend that way. I think we'd have unless he brings his own quarterback.
Well, I think he's bringing a quarterback.
Do you?
I do.
Okay. Open competition. Scott, what do you think?
Well, and your original question, I mean, I think Jon Sumrall's coming here with a plan to win. I don't think he's, marking 2027 on his calendar. I think he wants to do it in 2026. I think he's got some benefits that maybe Billy Napier didn't have. I do think the roster is better. Without question, the facilities, the NIL, the support system, all that stuff is better. They don't have to build it from scratch. I think having the GM, Dave Caldwell, in place like they have, I think that's going to allow him to focus on building that team culture. And that's toughness, that's discipline, that's energy, that's attitude, all the stuff that you got to have. And I don't think Billy Napier had time to do all that maybe as much as he needed to. And also, he's got an offensive play caller. He's got a good defensive coordinator. He's going to round out his staff. So yeah, I don't see any reason why it's not out of the realm of possibility at all that we're sitting here next year talking about the Gators in the playoff. What Shane said is true. I mean, the quarterback play, whoever it is, has to be much better than what we've seen in the last couple of years consistently. You like to see Jaden Ball back, obviously. I think that would be a big thing in toward that question that you asked. But there will be some players that we don't even know about yet. There's going to be some transfer portal players. There's going to be some guys on the roster today who won't be here. That's just the nature of the game today. But what I like about Jon Sumrall is the guy has done it twice already. Now he's going to do it a third time, and he's done well at both other stops. And I just think it's time, man. It's time. It's why he's here. I mean, it's why he's here, and it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Scott
Carter, FloridaGators.com. Good stuff. Be sure and read. Thank you, Scott. Shane, who's on your show tomorrow?
You and Steve Spurrier Jr.
Oh, me and Bubba get to be on together, huh? All right.
right.
That should be a good one. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, Shane Matthews, 8 o'clock, he'll be up on the air. Thank you, Shane. Good job. Appreciate you carrying me down.
Good.
Appreciate it. All right. All right, folks, I'll wrap up tonight's program. I want to go out by saying thank you to our sponsors, not the least of which is the folks at Titan MRI and Imaging, a fine sponsor. They are doing a terrific job there. They're expanding. We got a lot of high-tech stuff going on. You need to know about them if you're in the market for any kind of scan, CAT scan, whatever, MRI. This is a place you should check out. They got 3 locations to serve you now, 2 in Gainesville, the Park Avenue location at the Millennium Center, 1 in Lake City serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta, Georgia. Soon coming to Ocala as well. They offer the same great customer service they always have, which means if you can't come in the daytime, you want to go at night, they'll arrange a nighttime appointment for you. How's that for customer service? They accept insurance, or you can go to their convenient self-pay option. They offer MRIs, CAT scans, x-rays, and ultrasounds. They have the larger MRI machines. I love this because if you get claustrophobic going into those tubes, they'll take that consideration. They have the larger machines, makes it easier. Like I said, coming to Ocala soon to better serve Marion County and the surrounding area. And Titan MRI, it's your choice. Thanks very much to Shane Matthews and Scott Carter. Don't forget tomorrow morning, you got SEC Sidelines with Rob Brown and Brendan Martin, and you've also got Shane Matthews. We'll be on with Shane at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning Eastern time. Have a great night, and we'll talk at you tomorrow morning.